Hi everyone, I'm Jen from Moralis, and today we're going to talk specifically about the in-depths of React Native. What is React Native, how you can easily create your mobile dApps, and a step-by-step guide on how you download all tools needed and set it up for both iOS and Android development environment on your machine. And we will also create a simple app that we can play around with. So, Moralis is the Firebase for crypto and could save you up to 80% of dApp development time. And you don't have to create your own RPC node and build your back end around it. Just build your front end and we'll do the rest for you. So, you can easily do that by going to our boilerplate that's made ready for you. So, as you can see here on my screen, I do have the Ethereum-react-native boilerplate ready like this. And all you have to do is copy this link and clone this on your local folder and you're good to go. So if this is your first time visiting this channel, don't forget to hit like and press the bell button to subscribe and not miss a single update. So here's the Ethereum React Native boilerplate that we made ready for you. It now runs on React Native CLI. We removed Expo and also improved its performance. So I got it running on both of my devices here. So the first device on the right is my iPhone SE. It is an older phone. That's why it appears to be bigger on the screen right now because of the resolution. And the one here on the left is my Android phone. So here on my iPhone, we got the assets screen up. And when we click on the transaction button here in the bottom navigator, we're going to be redirected to the transaction screen. And then the NFT assets for the NFT screen, the transfer for the transfer screen, and the profile for the profile screen. And the one here on the left is my Android phone that is currently showing us the login screen. So we created this starter boilerplate for you to be able to create your mobile dApps easily. React Native is an open source UI platform that is created by Facebook, now called Meta. It is intended for web developers like me who wants to know more about creating our own mobile app without the need to learn in depth of Java or Swift. We can just use JavaScript, and it is also compatible with TypeScript. So it's really easy to learn. If you're already familiar with React and JavaScript development, you can easily learn about React Native. So to start our journey as a React Native developer, the first thing we have to do is to go to this website called reactnative.dev and click on guides, and it will redirect us to the documentation part of this website. And we just want to skip the basics first and go to the environment setup by clicking this tab and selecting setting up the development environment. And as you can see here, we do have a documentation that is telling us to set up our React Native environment first. And we want to click here on the React Native CLI Quick Start. Before we dive deeper into this setup, I've actually prepared you here a documentation that I've listed all the tools that we'll be needing to start our development, starting from the CLI tools, the iOS development tools like Xcode, and for Android, it will be Android Studio. So for CLI tools, we will be needing to get Node.js. So if you don't have Node.js, just go to this website, nodejs.org, and then just pick one of the installation that will be fitting on your machine. So if you do have here a Mac OS like me, so we do have the 16.13.2 version, which is the recommended version for most users. And we also have the 17.4, which is the current version that is the latest one. So it depends on which one you would like to pick, but I actually picked this one, 16.13.2, since it is recommended. So I just click it here, wait it to be downloaded, and I'm going to install this. So alright, we got it downloaded. I just click it here. It's gonna prompt us the installation process. So introduction, I just click on continue, and then license. So click on continue, just agree. Yeah, it says to continue installation software, you must agree to the terms. Oh, all right, okay. Agree, installation type. This will take 169.7 MB. All right. Okay, so just click on install, and it prompts me to input my password here. Okay. All right, so click on install software. Got my wrong password. Okay. Hope this one is correct. Oops. All right. All right. Got it. So, okay, it's now installing. Okay, so this package has installed Node version 16.13.2, which is located here in the user local /bin/node. So make sure that user /local/bin is in your path. Okay, that is noted. So I'll just copy this one to make sure that I got the right path. And well, I think I can just go here to click it here. Okay, so no, not that one. Okay, so I'll just copy this link here, and then I think I should be, it's good to paste it here. So let's just paste it here for now. Let's say the path for Node.js. Let's just put it that way. And then let's go back here in the installation process. Okay, so let's just close it. Do you want to move trash? Yes, let's move it to trash since it's already installed. And then for us to check if Node is, well, successfully installed on our machine, all we have to do is to go here and open the terminal and just type in node/v. And if it's installed, it's going to return us the current version of the Node.js installation package that we installed, which is the version 16.13.2. So the next we have on the list is installing Ruby Gem. So Gem is pre-installed on Mac already. So if you do have a Mac OS machine, you don't have to go through downloading this and setting it up on your machine. And if you're only planning to develop an Android app and you're using a Windows machine, you don't have to install this anymore, since Ruby Gem is only for iOS development, and you can keep it that way. So the next we have to install is CocoaPod. So this is only for iOS, and we can install it by going to its website. So let's type in CocoaPods. All right, so I got it here already. CocoaPods installation, and then let's click in this link, CocoaPods, and we'll be redirected to cocoapods.org. And here we can see the installation guide, getting started, and create a pod. So right now what we want to do is to copy this command here, and let's open the terminal. All right, and let's just paste it here like this. Sudo gem install CocoaPod. So hit on enter, and then it's gonna prompt you to enter your password. So I'm gonna enter my password here. All right, so it's installing. Okay, so CocoaPods just finished installing. It says successfully installed CocoaPods 1.11.2. And all right, we got it installed already. And the next one we need to install is ADB, or Android Debug Bridge. So this tool is already made available after you install Android Studio. So later on, we're going to be installing this as well together with Android Studio. But for now, let's move forward to installing our iOS development environment tool, which is Xcode. So let's install Xcode by going to the App Store. So I just click my App Store icon here, and then it's going to show up App Store, and then we're going to search for Xcode. All right, so let's click Xcode, and as you can see here, we do have Xcode on the first of the list. So let's just click this icon here. This is for download, and it's loading. This might take time, But let's just wait till Xcode finishes downloading and we're going to set it up. Alright, so we already got Xcode installed, and the next thing we have to do is to click open button and it will open Xcode for us. Alright, so we now got Xcode on our screen, and as you may notice, there's a lot of files here. These are actually the workspace files for the React Native projects that I've worked with before. So as you can see, well, it's actually the ethereum-react-native boilerplate. So well, I actually have Xcode before, and I just uninstalled it, and just for you to see how I will be installing Xcode step by step, so you can follow through the instructions. And when I installed it, it automatically populated all the projects that I've worked before. So well, it automatically populated, which is really good. And right now, we just have to click on the Xcode button and the menu and go to preferences. And we are going to be setting up the command line tools. So, well, when you open it, it's going to be redirected here in the general tab. But we want to go to the locations tab here by clicking locations. And as you can see, here on the command lines tool section, we already got the Xcode 13.2.1, which actually means we already got the command line tools that we need, and we don't have to install any command line tools. But if this is not the case and you don't see any command line tools, all you need to do is to click here on the drop down and then click the latest command line tools and get it installed. And that's all you need to do to set up your Xcode and your command line tools. So we can now close this and this one as well, and we can now go to Xcode. And that's it for setting up Xcode. Alright, so we're done setting up Xcode. Let's proceed to setting up our Android development environment. And for us to do that, we need to install Android Studio. So we can do that by creating a new tab here, and then let's type in Android Studio download here. Let's pick that one, and then if we click it here on this link. Okay, so alright, so here in the Android Studio website, we do have a couple of options, but we're gonna be clicking this one here that says download Android Studio, and it's automatically for Mac since the website detected that I'm using a Mac machine. And we're gonna be clicking download, and then terms and conditions, you just click on agree. And then I'm gonna be picking Mac with Apple chips since I'm using a Mac that is running on M1. So I'm gonna be clicking that one, and then it's going to proceed to download. And let's just wait for Android Studio to be downloaded, and then we're gonna be continuing with the setup. Alright, so we're done with downloading Android Studio, and the next thing we have to do is to open the downloads folder. So just click on Chrome's settings, and then hit on download, and then the Android Studio is going to be listed up top here. Let's just click that, and it's going to be asking us to move Android Studio to the applications folder like this. So you just drag it, and then let Android Studio be copied to your applications folder. Let's just wait a bit till it installs. Alright, so I think that's it. So let's just type it here. Okay, so Android Studio is now installed on my machine, and if you click that, it's going to show us here the interface of Android Studio. So if you can see, there are a couple of projects that is already populating here, because well, I have Android Studio before, like what I have in Xcode before, and I just uninstalled Android Studio for you to see how I actually setting up my environment here. And all these files here are actually my previous projects that I've worked with, which is also the ethereum-react-native boilerplate that I've shown you earlier, guys. So for us to proceed, let's just go to the React Native website here, and let's go back here to the React Native CLI Quick Start. So if you click this, and then it's going to show us some options here. So For development OS, we're gonna be selecting Mac OS since I'm using Mac. And then for the target OS, we're just gonna be clicking here on Android, and then it's gonna show us this option. So we have to install Node, which we already got, in Watchman as well. And right now, it is asking us to install Java Development Kit. So all we need to do is copy this command. And by the way, guys, you have to install Brew. And for you to do that, just click this link here, and then it's going to redirect you to the Brew website. And just copy this link and paste it to your terminal, and it's gonna do the thing for you. It's gonna install Homebrew to your machine. So I'm not gonna do that since I already installed it. We're just gonna be proceeding on installing this JDK11 here. So we're just gonna copy that command, and then we're gonna be opening our terminal, and we're gonna be pasting that command here. So after we paste it, we hit return, and we wait for it to do the setup. Alright, so it says running brew update pre-install. Warning, cask adopt open JDK11 is already installed. Yep, well, I already installed it before, so it prompted me that, well, it's already there. But if you don't have this JDK11 installed, you have to install it this way. And the next thing we have to do is set up the Android SDK. So it says that for us to do that, we have to download and install Android Studio. While on Android Studio installation wizard, make sure that the boxes next to all the following items are checked, which what we already did earlier. So we have Android SDK platform, and AVD, which is Android virtual device. So that goes for the emulator. And we go here to the step 2. It says install the Android SDK. Alright, so Android Studio installs the latest Android SDK by default. But building a React Native app with native code, however, requires the Android 10Q SDK in particular. Additional Android SDKs can be installed through SDK Manager in Android Studio. Alright, so let's just go back here to Android Studio, and we click on... Alright, so here on the project. Alright, so let's go here up top, the menu, click on Preference, and then it's gonna be opening up the preferences. And then here under Appearance and Behavior, we have System Settings, and then under System Settings, we're gonna be clicking on Android SDK. Alright, so here on the Android SDK, it says here that Android SDK is cannot be found the file settings. Alright, so just click on Edit, and it's gonna find available SDK components. So let's just wait for it to finish. Alright, so it found the SDK components that that we have. So it is Android SDK 157 MB, and then for Android SDK platform, we got API 32, and we're just going to click on Next. I believe when this is the first time that you're gonna be setting up Android Studio, this is the first thing that will come up to your screen, setting up Android SDK components. So this just pops up this moment in time for me because, well, I have Android Studio installed before, and this is, well, at some point it's just a reconfiguration of my Android Studio. So I just click on Next, and then I have to click on Next again, and then it's going to install that SDK that we just selected. So let's just wait a bit for it to be installed, and then we're gonna proceed on configuring the Android SDK. All right, so we're done with installing that SDK, and then we're gonna click on finish. So it says here that we do have Android API 32 installed, but we also have to install Android 10Q. I think that's the right one, right? So Android 10Q, we have to install it as well. Android 10Q. All right, so we have to download this as well, and then we selected it. Okay, so we click on OK. Following components will be installed. Okay, yeah, so let's just click on OK here, and then it's going to install. We just have to accept the terms and condition. All right, so it's gonna download and install it for us. So let's wait a bit. All right, so we're done with installing that SDK. So we're just gonna be clicking on finish. All right, so we're done with installing SDK 10Q, and the next thing we have to do is to set up our Android home environment. So for us to do that, we just have to go to our home command file. So for me, it will be this one, since my terminal is running on ZSHRC. So I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna be opening my terminal like this, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type in open. So if you can notice, I am on the root of my system here, and then I'm gonna be pasting this file. So open.zshrc, and then I'm gonna be hitting return, and it will open me the file right now. And as you can see, well, I already have all this copied before, since I already got Android Studio before. So I already copied it here. But if you don't have this, and this is the first time you're gonna be doing this, just well, so it will appear something like this. It's empty, and then you're just gonna be pasting it, and then you have to save it. And then once it's saved, you just have to close this file, and then you have to terminate the terminal so it will take effect. So let's quit it, and then all right, so let's see if that took effect. I'm gonna be opening my terminal again, and one way to test this is to test if the ADB command is already giving you something. So ADB is Android Debug Bridge, and that is actually used when you are plugging in your physical Android device, and then you want to see all the Android devices connected on your machine. What you can do is to type in ADB devices. But since I don't have any device connected right now, it's gonna say list of attached device, and there's nothing here. But if I'm gonna be attaching my Android phone, or if you're gonna be attaching your Android phone, your physical device, it's gonna be, well, the ID of your device will show up here. But this command here and this result only tells us that ADB is now recognized on our system, and we can call this anytime we want. All right, so we're done setting up Android Studio. So let's just go back here to this file that we have earlier. Okay, so let's just review real quick. So with CLI tools, we're done with Node.js, Ruby Gem, Cocoa Pods, ADB or Android Debug Bridge. We already configured this. And then earlier we also installed Xcode, the latest version in the Android Studio. So everything is now set up. So what's the next thing to do, right? Well, right now things are getting really much interesting, since we're gonna be creating our first React Native app, but not with a boilerplate. We're gonna be creating it from scratch. All right, so to start our React Native app, we just have to go back here to the React Native website, and then let's go down here to creating a new application. So here, by the way, React Native command line interface is, well, one thing, but with the latest version of Node.js, we actually already got React Native CLI installed, and we can init a project by just saying npx React Native and the command, which is this is going to be the command that we're going to be using for us to create our new project. And here it says for creating a new application, if you previously installed a global React Native CLI package, please remove it as it may cause unexpected issues. So this is the older way of how to install the React Native CLI on your machine. You have to directly install React Native CLI, but since we already have updated Node modules, npm package, we just have to do something like this, like npx React Native init and then some projects. You can also use it like, after you init the project, you can just type in npx React Native run iOS and those kinds of commands. I'm gonna show you later on, but right now I'm just gonna init a project here. So let's just try to open here VS Code. All right, so we're opening up VS Code right now, and let's go ahead and click terminal. Let's just open new terminal inside VS Code. All right, so what we want to do here is to actually go somewhere in my files and create a new folder. So let's just check where we actually are right now. So let's click type in ls and then hit return, and then it's gonna be listing us all the folders from the root directory. So I wanted to go to desktop, so let's type in cd desktop. Then on desktop we're gonna be creating a new folder. Let's say let's create a new folder here. So okay, so let's say we make dir, we make folder, and we're gonna be naming this folder new project. Creative, right? Okay, so a new project, we're gonna be going inside that folder. So let's type in cd and then a new project. All right, so inside this folder, we're gonna be initiating our React Native application. So what we need to do is to copy this. So it's really easy. It's just copying and pasting commands, but it's really, also good for you to remember it. So just practice typing it on your own. So, but for now, we're just gonna be copying and pasting it like this. So npx React Native init, and then we're gonna be naming this project what. So we're gonna be naming this crypto project. Let's say crypto project. Okay, crypto project app. All right, so we're gonna be hitting return, and it's gonna instantiate the crypto project app inside the new project folder. So let's just wait a bit for the installation to finish. Okay, so it asks us if we want to install the following package, which is React Native, and we're just gonna click on Y for yes, and then hit enter. All right, so it's installing the dependencies right now. All right, so we're done with initiating our new and fresh React Native app. So here, let's just open it in Xcode. So we click the open button, and then here are my folders, my file. We're going to desktop, and then we click on new project, and inside new project, here we can find now the project that we just created. So we're gonna be selecting this project. So yes, trust the authors of these files in the parent folder, new project. Yes, I trust the author, which is actually me. All right, so here we do have some couple of folders. We do have tests, we do have bundle, we do have Android folder, we do have iOS folder, and we got our node modules installed already for us. All right, so what we have to do right now is to actually run the app. All right, so let's try to run this app on iOS simulator. So for us to do that, we just have to list all the files here first, make sure that we're in the right folder. All right, so the next command that we need to execute for us to run the app is npx react-native space run iOS, and then we hit on enter. Okay, and as you can see, there are a couple of bundlers running right now. Okay, so we actually encountered an error here. So what the error is supposed to mean? Okay, so it says that failed to build iOS project. We run Xcode build command, but it exited with error code 65. To debug the build further, consider building your app with Xcode app by opening crypto project app.xcode project. Okay, so right now, before we try to open the app in Xcode, maybe we should go ahead and install the pods dependency first. So for us to do that, we have to go to the pods folder. So we're gonna be typing in cd pods. So as you can see here in the iOS folder, we do have the pods file here. So my mistake. We should be typing cd iOS. So we're going to be inside this folder, and then we're gonna be triggering this file, which is the pod file. So for us to install the pods dependencies inside this pods file, we need to type in pod install, and it's gonna install us all the pods dependencies for iOS. So let's just wait a bit for it to finish installation. All right, so we're done with installing the pods dependencies. All right, maybe we can try to run the app again and see if anything changes. So let's type in npx react native again, react native run iOS. So let's try that out and see what happens. All right, looks like something is happening. All right, so we're done with trying to run it, but it seemed that we're still getting a build fail here. So I think we can try to build this first on Xcode right now and see what happens. So let's just open Xcode and then open a project or file. Let's go back to desktop. Then let's go to a new project, crypto project app, and then we click on iOS. And then here, for you to run your iOS project in Xcode, you have to select iOS folder, and then inside iOS folder, you have to select a file that is the name of your project, which for me is crypto project app, it should be that workspace and not that Xcode project. Okay, sometimes it's really confusing, but you have to get used to it and open the workspace file instead of the Xcode project file. Okay, so right now I'm gonna be clicking on Xcode workspace file. I'm gonna click this and I'm gonna open it, and what it's going to do is to open all of your iOS dependencies inside your project to Xcode like this. So it's now initializing. So let's just wait it here till it finishes initializing your app. So yeah, there are a couple of things happening right now. Workspace is getting built, and let's just wait a bit till it builds it finished building up all the dependencies for our application. All right, so it says it's ready. So for you to get familiarized with Xcode, as you can see, there's a lot of things happening here. And if this is your first time seeing Xcode, it's kind of confusing, but I'm just gonna show you, the frequent things and the environment that I'm using with Xcode. So for your information, I'm not really, diving into the whole Xcode thing. I'm just going here to some basic configuration of Xcode. So for us to go to the actual project, just click on the name of your project here on the left. So for me, it should be crypto project app. So we also have the pods file here, but we want to focus on this file here to crypto project app. And here you can see a couple of options in tabs. So we do have general, signing capabilities, resource tags, info, build settings, build paces, and build rules. So it will take you time to really wrap your mind around all these configurations, but I'll tell you guys, it's really worth it. Developing Android or React Native app, both for Android and iOS. At some point in time, you will really understand how these tools are, leveraging your career path, being a React Native developer and becoming a better mobile app developer in the future. So for me, I'm gonna be trying to run the application. And here in the general, we're gonna be checking out a couple of things. So as we can see here, we have 3 warnings, and of course we want to see where that warning is coming from. So we do have a Swift conversion warning, validate project settings warning, and another update recommended settings warning here. So for us to check if this will actually run on a device or on an emulator, we just have to go here to up top, and as you can see, this is your crypto project app here, and here we can actually select the emulator that we wish to open our app with. So we're gonna be clicking that selection, and we're gonna be selecting iPhone 13 here. So we're gonna click on iPhone 13, and then once there is already a phone selected, or a virtual phone selected simulator, what we're gonna be clicking here on build. So this play button here is actually gonna build our app. So let's click this and see what's going to happen. So after we click it, it's going to build the app for us. And yes, fortunately we finally got our first error as a React Native developer. So let's see that error. It says the link library lib pods crypto project app.a is missing one or more, something like that. So maybe we can try to open this. Missing one or more architecture required target 8664. All right. All right, so this is the first time I actually encountered this error, so I think it's better for us to Google it and how to fix this. So, all right, so let's go to Google and let's Google the error here. So we're just gonna be typing in missing one or more architectures. Okay, missing one or more architectures required by this target ARM64. Okay, not ARM64, but actually 8664. So okay, so let's type in 86 x8664. Okay, so all right, so let's click this link and it's going to give us something. All right, okay, so React Native on Apple Silicon M1, the link library pods project name A is missing. Yeah, guys, so these are some of the problems that comes with M1. So there are lots of issues happening. I'm seeing it, everywhere that has something to do with pods not being installed properly with M1, and this might be one of those. So we have to fix it for us to run the app, and we got here at some point the right answer. So maybe we can try to click this link here. Okay, so I really hope this works. So Xcode 12 compilations error. We're running on iOS 14 simulators. All right. Okay. So below are the two main reasons for race error due to this change. So ARM64 architecture supports in Xcode 12 compatible versions, but have not been provided by many popular third-party libraries yet, like Firebase, etc. All right, so okay, steps to get fixes for these errors. All right, yep, maybe we can fix this error by following this step right here, hopefully. So to do that, for main project, navigate to build settings. All right, so let's go ahead and navigate to build settings. All right, so in build settings, we should go here to excluded architectures, and we're gonna be selecting debug, right? Excluding architecture, build excluded architectures. Okay, so let's see. Let's see, excluded architectures. Let's look for that one. Okay. So architectures. Okay. Under architectures, excluded architectures. Okay. So here it is. So we're gonna be putting in ARM64 here. All right, so it should be ARM64. Is that right? Let's take a look again. All right, so should be ARM64 for debug. ARM64 for release, we should be doing the same. Should be putting ARM64, and all right, we've done that. And then now you have to do the same for pod project until all the CocoaPod vendors are down, adding the following in their pod set. All right, so okay, so let's go back here. And then here for pods, we should also be doing this as well. Project pods, then let's go to build settings. So pods, and then build settings for pods. And then under architecture, we should also go to excluded architectures. So architecture, all right. Under architecture, we should be seeing excluded architecture, but we can't seem to. Okay, maybe we're not on the right one. Okay, so we should be here, pods, and then I think we should be clicking all. Okay, so when we click all tab, it showed us the excluded architecture. So here for any iOS simulator SDK, we should be doing the same. We should be adding ARM64 as well. Not 63, but 64, and we should be copying this one so we don't repeat ourselves. All right, so it's already there, and we should be also putting it here, ARM64 as well. All right, so is that it? Is that it? All right, Mac iOS. All right, you can manually add excluded architecture in your pod. Okay, but it will be overwritten when you use pod install. In this place, in place of this, you can add this snippet on. All right, so we should be adding this snippet in our pod file. It will write the necessary build settings every time you run pod install. Okay, so we're gonna be copying this, and then we're gonna be going back to our pod file here. So inside the iOS folder, so we're back here to our app, and under iOS folder, we're gonna be clicking on pod file, and then okay, we're gonna be copying this again. I'm not sure if I just do it. Okay, so here, okay, here. Okay, so for target crypto app, and this is the enclosing tag. That means we have to put it right here underneath the other post install. So okay, so maybe we can save it like this for now. So the next time you run pod install, it will do the thing for us, and we don't have to do the configuration again. So all right, step 2 you should do is delete valid arcs from your project altogether. Okay, we should be deleting. So this is just actually telling us to delete all the valid archives, but since we don't have any archives yet, we haven't actually built anything for iOS, we can skip that. And now we're gonna try to run the app again. So for us to run this again, okay, so iPhone 13 is selected here. We're gonna be clicking on product, and here we should be cleaning our build folder. So we can do cleaning by clicking on product on the menu, and then on the drop down we should be selecting clean build folder, and when we click this, it's going to clean the builds and the error will be gone, and we're gonna be sure that we are actually running the app much cleaner without any errors. All right, so okay, so we're back here again. All right, so maybe this time we can try to build the app now, and hopefully we don't see any more errors. All right, so we're done building, but unfortunately, well, there is another build error here that we encounter. So encountered an error communicating with IBAagent-iOS. So let's click on that error, by the way. So okay, so it says encountered an error communicating with launch. So this has something to do with the launch screen. So we should be fixing this. So maybe we can try to look for a solution again here. All right, so actually I just started my machine as part of the debugging process of the error. The reason for that is I've actually Googled something and I found out that this error here, the IBAagent-iOS error that we've encountered earlier, could easily be fixed by doing a cold restart. So I just followed this answer here. So he said, so I thought maybe IBAgent just never got started, and then he cold restarted and bingo, the problem went away. And I just tried to do that, and that's what we're gonna be trying to do right now, is to build the app again. So after I restarted, I'm gonna be going here to Xcode again, and I'm gonna select iPhone 13 here. So instead of selecting iPod Touch 7, we're going to be selecting iPhone 13. And after that, we're going to be clicking on build again and see what happens now. All right, so let's just wait for the app to build on iPhone 13 emulator. So I really hope that this works right now. All right, we're picking up something. The bundler went up and the iPhone 13 emulator just turned on. Well, actually, it's currently turning on. And I really hope that our app should launch. All right, so the app just launched. And we wait till we get to the index page. All right, great guys. So now we are able to launch the app on an iPhone 13 emulator, and we can now see here the default React Native page for this template that we created earlier with the project. So it says welcome to React Native, some couple of steps like step 1, edit app.js, see your changes, and so on and so forth. So maybe we can try to change something here, and let's observe what will happen next. So we should go here to our code. All right, maybe we can try to do this side by side here so we can see the changes. All right, so we can see the file in app.js file. All right, so maybe we should look for that text though. So let's type in welcome. Welcome to. All right, I think maybe that should be the header. So step 1. Okay, some text here. So let's try to comment this header. Let's see what will happen. All right, so my suspicion was right. It was actually the header. So when I commented the header, that React Native icon just hide. And then right here, maybe we can also try to change some text. So instead of this and all this, okay, we should try to go here inside this view. So if you're a React developer, this should be at some point familiar with you. So a view actually represents a div in web development. So every time in React Native, every time you're gonna be creating a new element, you should be encapsulating it inside a view for you to be able to actually show it to the screen here. So we try to comment this out, or better delete it and see what happens. Okay, so we're now left with empty screen here. So just for a quick React Native course here. So we do have view earlier. I've shown it earlier to you. So it's like the div for HTML. And then we have here a component that is called safe area view. So what safe area view does is it actually prevents the elements from your screen to go here to this part of the screen where you can see the notch. So we're actually preventing these elements to go over here to this tab up top. So we encapsulate our view or our component inside a safe area view. So let's say we put in some text. Okay, so we do have text here. So this text component here is actually like the paragraph component for HTML. So let's say we're gonna be putting a text here. So let's say test text, something like this. And there you go. You can now see the test text under the status bar here. So let's try and see what will happen if we remove this safe area view here. Okay, let's remove safe area view. Okay, it just thrown an error, and we're just gonna replace the safe area view with a regular view, and let's see what will happen next. Okay, so like what I've told you before, it should be all your components should be encapsulated with a view for you to be able to see it and not get any errors. So now the error is gone, and right there you can see that the text that we typed in earlier, this one is actually overlapping the status bar of your emulator here. So we don't want that to happen. So we're gonna be putting back the safe area view component, and let's put everything inside the safe area view for us to make sure that there will be no component to overlap the status bar. So let's try to change the text to a meaningful hello world. Alright, so that's a hello world, and then we're gonna be putting style here. So for us to put some styling here, we have to put the style prop, and then this is actually the same as what we're doing with React with JSX. So the styling is kind of similar. So for now, we're just gonna be putting some inline styles for us just to change minimal styling for this hello world text. So we're just gonna be saying font size should be big, should be like 20, or let's say should be 40, and then let's add font weight. Font weight should be, let's say, bold. All right, and then finally we try to center things up. So let's put up text align center. All right, so now we have our app running on iOS, and we do have here a sample text called hello world. And the next we have to do is to try and run this on Android as well. So for us to run this on Android, we have to type a command here on our terminal, and the command should be npx react native run Android. So assuming that we set up Android Studio pretty well earlier, this should run and build our app. Alright, so when we tried to run our app on Android, the build failed, and the reason why is because we don't have any Android emulator or Android device that is ready to run the app. So right now I will wish to open this in an Android simulator. So for me to do that, I'm going to open my Android Studio here. All right, so let's open this up, and then okay, we're gonna be trying to open here a simulator. So we can do that by, all right, so maybe we could just open the project here. So open the project, no, not this one, but open project. Okay, open project, go to desktop, go to new project, crypto app project. So for us to load our project, you need to go to the root of your project folder and then select on Android, and that's it. You just have to select the whole Android folder for you to import your project to Android Studio, and then we're gonna be clicking open. So after opening it up, it's gonna be loading the project here, and while it's currently loading, what we want to do right now is to actually go to AVD devices here. Okay, so maybe we can try to move it here a bit, and then help. Maybe we can try to close this. Let's click on help, and then yeah, on help we're gonna be typing in AVD, and we're gonna be opening AVD manager. So you can also find AVD manager in tools, and then AVD manager here. So let's click on that, and then here we're gonna be prompted to create a virtual device. So we're gonna be creating one, so it should be a phone, and maybe we can just select this Pixel 2 or maybe Pixel 3a XL, and then we're gonna be click on next, and then it's going to tell us something here that we need to download all this stuff. All right, so we recommend this images because they run. All right, so now we're gonna be clicking on this one. Okay, download this, and then click on accept, next. Okay, so let's just wait for that to be installed on our machine here. So let's just wait for it to download. So this might take a while. Let's just give it a moment here while it's currently downloading the emulator for us. Alright, so we're done installing the tool, so we're gonna be clicking on finish here. Alright, so let's go click on next, and then just click on finish. Alright, so we now have our Android emulator here. So for us to open this emulator, we just click on this play action here. So it says launch this AVD in the emulator. So let's just click that out, and let's wait for the emulator to open. Alright, so it's now opening up. The emulator is now opening up, and then okay, so it says Google. Alright, so if we try to do this now, you can see that we do have two emulators on our screen. And then once it's already up, now we can try to run the app on the emulator. So here we're just gonna be typing in the same command. I'm just gonna push arrow key up so we can try to recall the last command we type in, which is npx react native run android, and then we're gonna be hitting enter and hoping that it should run on our Android device here. Okay, let's just wait a bit. All right, there you go. So now we have our iOS built in, as well as our Android app built right now. So good job everybody that followed this tutorial. So I really hope that you too you successfully built both of your iOS and your Android app using all the tools that I've shown you earlier, following up with everything that I did. I really hope that you are successful on running your first mobile app application with React Native, and this will be your first step on your career as a React Native developer. And I'm really happy for you that you are able to go along with me and do this React Native from scratch. All right, so I'd like to talk a bit about React Native and its core components. So let's go back here to the React Native documentation, and then under basics, just click on core components and native components here. So here we can see views in mobile app development. And then here on the native components, we can also see some core components here. So I want to focus on this component here. So as you can see here, core component for React Native is, the main core component is view. So view stands for a div, as well as text. So text stands for a paragraph element in HTML, and so on and so forth, as well as image. So image component here is the same image component or image element in HTML, but only is img and HTML. So we do have scroll view as well, that is also a div, but is a scrollable div. So the text input, like the input that we have in our HTML elements. So we do have here a couple of examples on how to implement it. So here we do have an example hello world app, and as you can see, there is view, text, image, scroll view, and text input. And here on the scroll view, inside the scroll view, so scroll view is also a view, but it is just scrollable. So that's basically it. So as you can see here, we do have a scroll view for this app here, and we do have a view. It is wrapped inside the view here. So some more text. So it is this one actually. And then we do have here an image. So the image corresponds to a cat, which is this one. And then we do have a text input here, which is here. So as you can see, it is kind of similar on how we are actually doing it with web development. So we do have text input, we do have paragraphs, we do have divs, but here in React Native, we just replace it with some meaningful wrapper for those elements, and we created those wrapper components like this. Well, Facebook created those wrapper components to be something like this with meaningful names, so you don't really have to study more about what components are with React Native. You can just by reading it, it'll be easier for you to determine which component you are supposed to be using for each of the interactions with the app that you are planning to do. So for this one, the text input, it just says text input, and then we can try to say hello world in text input. Yeah, there you go. So as you can see, it's kind of normal elements or components for React Native. So you can go ahead and check those components here. If you want to learn more in React Native website, just go on guides, or here in component better, for you to see all the components that is already made available for you by React Native, Facebook, Meta here. So we do have the basic component, view, text, image, scroll view, text input, style sheets, list views, and those kinds of components. So we also have buttons here. So here the button is also button component. So you can press these buttons here like this. So you can explore all the components available here. So you just go here to this documentation that is provided by React Native and click on components, and every component in React Native is listed here. All right, so that'll be it for showing you how basic React Native and the components work. So I really hope that you learn on your own pace, try to explore more about React Native and how this component works for you to create your own meaningful app and create your first production level mobile app with React Native. So guys, I'd like to tell you more about how Moralis would like to help you out on creating your dApps in no time. So as you may know, using Moralis SDK already reduced your development time by 80%, right? But now, Moralis would like to help you out further by providing an Ethereum React Native boilerplate that you can use to create your own React Native dApp. So you can visit this by going through GitHub and then going through Ethereum boilerplate and then going to Ethereum React Native boilerplate. So we're going to be putting this link to the description of this video below for you to visit. And this Ethereum React Native boilerplate that you're seeing here is actually modified into using a React Native CLI environment. So we removed Expo. We resolved a lot of issues with related to Expo and also improve its performance. So I'm really proud that we are really able to pull this out, and we're able to fix a lot of issues with this boilerplate. I know, guys, that if you tested the older boilerplate, there's a lot of issues, and if you plan to create your own a boilerplate out of the Ethereum boilerplate that we have before, maybe you try to copy some files here from let's say from front end, from what else, maybe from wallet connect folder. So if we click on front end here, we can see a lot of components, Moralis folder and the wallet connect folder here. So if you try to just copy this wallet connect, Moralis folder and components folder into your own React Native CLI project, I know that you've experienced a lot of issues with missing crypto dependency or missing lots of dependencies, including mapping errors. Well, guys, I've actually encountered all those issues and all those errors that you might have encountered when you try to do this on your own, okay? And it took me a lot of time to fix it. Sometimes I don't sleep at all over the weekends just to try and fix this. So, I would like to save you those kinds of nightmares, guys. I like to really, give you this boilerplate and just, guys, just use this boilerplate for you to be able to save a lot of time and trying to create your own mobile app with React Native. So just kindly use this boilerplate, and all those issues, you don't have to encounter those anymore with this boilerplate, okay? And just if in case that there will be new issues that you'll encounter, just go ahead and go to this support forum here. Let me just click on forum. Okay, so you just go ahead and scroll down here, and then if you need help, just click on forum for the forum link here. And as you can see, we're redirected to the Moralis forum that is specific for Ethereum React Native boilerplate question. So we do have a lot of issues here before. Like this one, in my case, I could not make Android work. Those kind of errors. So this error as well. So this is one of the errors that I've told you about. So Moralis React Native Webpack imported Module 3 cannot be found, or not a constructor. Then there's a lot of issues here as well. The constructor. Okay, let's go to a much recent issues that I think might have encountered and fixed. Okay, so scroll down a bit. Okay, RNSVG, and then let's scroll down a bit. Okay, what's this error here? Okay, so let's just scroll down a bit. All right, so let's just try to focus on one of these questions. So this user tried the boilerplate, and he wants to configure his own CLI version of the code, and suddenly he encountered this issue. Cannot read properties of undefined, reading add listener. So I've also encountered this, and I am able to fix most of these issues that have something to do with setup. So I personally set this up. I personally set up React Native CLI for Ethereum React Native boilerplate, and I know by heart all of the issues that I've already encountered with this boilerplate, guys. So if you do have questions on regarding to creating your own CLI, you can post it here as well. And if you have some other issues that may come up in the future, just post it here. Okay, I'll be answering all your questions that you're gonna post here. Okay, so all right, so this is also one of issues. All right, so he said here that he can't seem to, that he's encountering this issue here, and I was also able to fix this. So there's a lot of issues that I was able to fix that has something to do with React Native CLI being, or Ethereum React Native boilerplate being integrated to React Native CLI, because I know, guys, that most of you developers would like to get the most basic, the most robust setup, which for React Native should be the CLI version. And I'm actually thinking of you guys. That's why I pushed to be able to make a React Native CLI for you, so you don't have to get through this trouble again in the future. Okay, so all right, right now I'm gonna be going back here to the React Native Ethereum React Native boilerplate. So let's go back here. All right, so here it is. Okay, so right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clone this Ethereum React Native boilerplate, and I'm gonna try to run this on my device as well. So now I'm gonna clone this Ethereum React Native boilerplate here. So I'm just gonna click on copy the link, and then we're gonna be cloning this somewhere. So okay, I want to open my Visual Studio Code editor, and then we're gonna be clicking on file and then open. So let's try to open up. So let's go back to desktop, and then we create a new folder here, Ethereum Ethereum RN. So let's rename it like Ethereum RN, and then inside Ethereum RN, I'm gonna be opening up a new VS Code instance here, and I'm just gonna trust, and then here. All right, so it's a fresh editor, and then I'm gonna be opening up a terminal, and here we're gonna be cloning the Ethereum React Native boilerplate. So we can do that by doing git clone, and then we copy this again, copy, or you can also fork it, depends. So I just copied it, and then I'm gonna be pasting it here. Then after I paste it, I hit enter, and we're gonna be cloning the app. All right, so it's already downloaded. So the next thing we have to do is to go to the folder. So okay, so when we list it, we see that ethereum-react-native-boilerplate is inside it. So let's gonna type cd and then eth and then hit tab, and it will auto populate the directory of our folder. And then we hit enter, and then we type in ls for us to list all the folders inside. All right, so now we can verify that we're really inside the file folder. And then next thing we have to do is to go back here to the Ethereum React Native boilerplate, and then follow the instructions. So okay, now we're inside, and then we're gonna be running this installation guide here. So you can see the installation guide here in quick start. Just copy this yarn install. Then let's go back here to not that one. We're gonna be going back here to our code editor, and then let's paste in yarn install. And then this command will actually install all the dependencies for the project. So this project is configured for yarn. So I also want you guys to install a yarn on your machine, so you can easily follow this instruction. And let's just wait for a couple of seconds here while it's still installing. Alright, so we're done with installing all the dependencies, and then let's follow this. So the next is actually going to the iOS folder and running pod install. So we can do that by again going to the code and then typing in cd iOS. So let's just type cd I and then tab. Okay, so there's syntax actually. Okay, so let's just type in cd iOS and then hit enter, and then we're now inside the iOS folder, as you can see here. So inside the iOS folder, we're gonna be running pod install, as we see here in the quick start guide. Okay, then hit enter. It's going to install all the pods, dependencies. Okay, so as you can see, this is the app. All right, so it is now running. Not running yet, but all the dependencies are already installed. So let's try to get it up and running. So we now have our emulator open here for iOS. Let's try to go back to the root folder by doing cd dot dot enter, and we're now on the root directory of the folder. And then we try to run it by doing npx run, oh no, not run, but react native space run iOS, and see what happens. Okay, so it seemed that there is an issue running this with npx react native run iOS for now that I have to configure, but rest assured that this should not be a problem with actually building your app. So for us to build this app not with that command, we can go back to Xcode. So let's go back to Xcode, and then we're gonna be opening up that project. So Xcode, and then we just click on no. Let's just close this one. Okay, then stop tasks. All right. Okay, stop tasks, and then click here again. Then we're gonna be redirected to this prompt here by Xcode. So the next thing we have to do is to open a current project. So let's go to desktop again. And here in desktop, we go to Ethereum RN folder. In here, we do have the Ethereum React Native boilerplate that we just cloned. And then now we have to go here on inside iOS folder. And like what we did before, we're gonna be selecting Ethereum RN boilerplate that XE workspace. So we're gonna be always selecting workspace when opening it up on Xcode. So let's click on that one and then hit open. And now Xcode is loading our project. And it might take some time, but it's now loading. Let's just wait a bit. Alright, so the build is now ready. I'm gonna try to build this on an iPhone 13. Alright, so it's selected and we're gonna be clicking on build right now. Alright, so the build just succeeded and I think it's going to build now. Alright, okay, so it's currently building. Okay, so let's just wait a bit till it finish loading. Okay, so it says that Ethereum RN boilerplate has not been registered. So that means that maybe we can just close this terminal here because I think it is still registered with a different app. So let's try to turn this off, but well, this is for Android Studio. And then we try to click on build again, and then let's see what happens. Okay, so it opened its own bundler. So I hope that this should run our app right now. Okay, so it's promising. It's now loading the app. Let's just wait till it goes to 100%. Alright, there you go. Now you can see that the Ethereum React Native boilerplate that we cloned earlier is now running on our emulator here. So as you can see, it's really that easy to run. You didn't really bang into another error or a dependency error. The error that we just saw earlier with running the npx react native run iOS is just has something to do with the derived data that I should clean or modify. But in terms of running the app in the Xcode, you didn't have any problem on running it. So that's really a good news. And this only shows us that we successfully created a React Native CLI version of this app. And it works pretty well. So right now, we also want to run this on Android Studio. So we can try to open this app again. Okay. We can try to close this out. Okay, so we have our emulator up, and then we're going to get back here to our code. And now we wish to deploy the same Ethereum React Native boilerplate here to our Android simulator. So what we need to do is to type in command npx run react npx react native run iOS, or no, not one, sorry, it should be Android, guys. Okay, I'm gonna try to stop this. Okay, so let's try to do that again. It should be npx react native run Android. Okay, so let's see if this command works. Okay, hit enter, and then Let's see if this is gonna run right now. Okay, it did what it did earlier with the other app. So let's wait. All right, so we see here. Okay, we got an error here. Okay, so installing APK app debug on Pixel. Okay, so doesn't seem to build. What I'm gonna try to do right now is to type in this command and see if this device is being detected. We're gonna be typing in ADB devices. Okay, so as you can see, it is running. The emulator is running. Okay, so I'm not sure why it didn't run, but we can try to do that again by trying to let's try that again for the second time, or not that one, but React Native React Native running on Android. So let's try if that will do a thing. Okay, so executing. Okay, we still got that error. Okay, maybe we can try to open that up in Android Studio. So we just close this out. Okay, and then we open the project. We click on open, and then desktop, and then we're gonna be clicking on one of these projects here, Ethereum RN. We're gonna be clicking on Android, and then we're gonna be clicking open here. So let's wait till this app loads to our Android Studio here. Okay, this might take a while again. So as you may notice, there's a lot of waiting time for installation, for app initialization, for loading the app for Xcode and Android Studio. It is pretty normal. So for this instance, I think, well, there should be a configuration for this app for us to run it on Xcode and on React Native CLI here for both iOS and Android. So for now, we're gonna try to run this on both of our simulators using Xcode and Android Studio. So let's wait for Android Studio to load, and we're gonna try to run this app on our simulators. Alright, so we already loaded ethereum-react-native-boilerplate on our Android Studio here. So everything is loaded. Alright, it's not downloading anymore. Okay, so we're gonna be clicking on run app here. Let's try to run the app here on Android Studio instead, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I just clicked it and it will initialize running the app. Let's just wait till it runs the app here. Okay, alright, so it says unable to load script. Make sure you're either running a Metro server and run React Native Start. Okay, well, yeah, I forgot, but for iOS we didn't do that. It automatically run the bundler, but for Android, I think there will be an exception for this one. So what we need to do right now is to go back here to our code and our terminal, and then let's try to run React Native Start. So npx react native start. so it's already running, I think, because well, that is because I already have one running right now. But I think there will be a code that we can use to run this. So we're gonna be doing yarn Android here. Let's see what happened. Okay, so we're gonna be running a separate bundler here for Android. Let's see, it will work. Okay, so something's happening. Okay, let's wait till. Okay, what happened? All right. Well, okay, I think I have to close this bundler for iOS since we're having conflicts here on running both iOS and Android at the same time. So maybe I can try to close this just for me to show you how to, run the boilerplate on Android simulator. So I'm gonna try to do that again. I'm gonna do React Native start. So we do that by typing npx React Native start. So let's see what will happen next. Okay, so we do have it here. We do have a bundler ready. So let's try to go back here to Android Studio, and then we try to run the app again. Okay, so it's going to initialize app run. And then we just click on terminate the first app. That will open up another app here. And then it's saying the same thing, React Native start. Okay, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should try to. Well, that's what we did here, right? So maybe we can try to open up a new terminal here and do. Okay, so let's go back to ethereum-react-native-boilerplate and then npx react-native run Android. Since we already have something running for, well, we already have here on the other terminal, we can see that we already have a bundler running for Android, and the next thing we have to do is to, well, actually try to run this in Android using this command. Let's see if this works. Okay, so still the same error. Maybe we can get something here. Installing APK app debug. That APK on Pixel for app debug. Deprecated Gradle features we used or used in this build, making it incompatible with Gradle 7.0. Okay, so I think we have to update our or downgrade the Gradle for this this emulator, or maybe we can do something like let's go back to the AVD manager and try to run another device here. So let's click on maybe Pixel 2. Click on next, click on download, and it will download Pixel 2 here. So let's just wait a bit to download Pixel 2. Alright, so we're done installing another simulator for Android. We click on finish, then we click on next, and then we select portrait, then we click on finish, and it should be added here. So let's try to open this emulator here. Let's try to open it up, and then we're gonna be closing this one, so we can close it like this, I believe. Then click on no, don't save it, and then okay. So let's just wait for it to open up. So once it's ready, we're gonna try to run our app again. So maybe we can, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try running the app here. So npx react native run Android. Let's try to run this command again, and let's wait if that would change a thing about the error that we've encountered earlier. So okay, let's just wait a bit till everything loads. Okay, let's just move it here for now so we can see everything. All right, so it launched on this emulator. Let's see if this will go further. All right, so that's already promising. It's loading right now. So we do have here our iOS build on the left and the Android build on the right. And let's see what's gonna happen next. All right, awesome. So now you can see that we're able to run both our iOS and Android build for our Ethereum React Native boilerplate. So, all right, so now we can see that the Ethereum React Native boilerplate that we created is compatible and running to all our React Native development environment, including Xcode and Android Studio, and we are also able to run it using this command here for Android, using React Native run Android, or npx react native run Android, which is really great. So maybe we can try to change some text here, some colors on the text on the button. So let's go back here to our code. So Ethereum React Native boilerplate. So maybe we can try to go here front end, and then components, and then to the page here, which is the crypto auth page. So on the crypto auth page, we do have here the crypto wallet login button. Let's type that in. Let's search. Okay, so this is the text here. So if you wanted to modify this boilerplate here, okay, maybe we can try to run this on iOS again since we closed the bundler. Okay, so let's just click on replace. So we will have another bundler that is watching our app whenever we change something here. So we want our Android and iOS simulator open here. Okay, so let's just wait a bit till this finish. Okay, so build succeeded, and then it's going to open this up, and now we have both of them running here. Okay, so well, sorry guys, I have to hide one of the simulators here, so pardon me. I'm just gonna be hiding this Android emulator for now, and we're gonna try to change something here on the code. So the React Native Ethereum boilerplate that we have right now is actually offering us a lot of things when it comes to developing our mobile dApps. So here on the code, as you can see, we do have folders like front end, inside front end, we have components. We do have a lot of components here that could be reused to personalize your own mobile app. Like we have Blocky here. So if you're planning to show Blocky on your React Native app, you don't have to, worry about it. We do have that component here. We do have like this login component, login page, which is already connected to Moralis with React Moralis. So if we search it here, as you can see, all the functions inside React Moralis is already made available in this Ethereum-react-native boilerplate. And also, the great thing here about this boilerplate is we're already using Wallet Connect for us to able to connect on our wallets. So we can connect through MetaMask and any other wallets that you have on your phone installed. We can log in through that, and whenever you're already logged in, you can access everything, like from addresses to NFTs to all of the essentials of your crypto wallet into it. All right, so it's already available. So all those functionalities are already here. So you don't have to repeat yourself. All you have to do is go ahead and clone this repo, clone this code here, and then you can just create your dApp with this boilerplate that we're already providing you. So one thing to start with is to actually try to modify the login page here. So let's try to modify the text here like what we did earlier. So let's say we want to replace this crypto wallet login by let's type in log in to crypto app, something like this. And as you notice, after you made some changes here and you save, it's already gonna change it here on the app. You don't have to refresh it. You don't have to do anything about it. So once you code it here, it will take effect on all builds. So it's really one code for all platform that React Native is actually offering you. So you only have to code once, and it will be for both iOS and Android. So that's the amazing thing about React Native, and Moralis is really helping you out and providing you these awesome tools like this boilerplate here for you to be able to create your mobile dApps in no time. All right, so maybe we can also, we will try to change the color of the button if you wish to. So let's try to. Okay, so background color. Well, actually, this is a pretty good background color. Maybe we can try to say instead of that, we just want it to be blue. So if you change the styling here to, let's say, blue, now both of your app has blue button, and you don't have to repeat yourself. So if you're a mobile app developer and you're gonna be doing your own mobile app with Java or with Swift, well, there are a couple of advantages, but as you can see, we can also do that here with React Native. So you only code once and deploy it to all of the devices that is compatible with your app. So that's it, actually. So now I'm going to show you how you can build your app to your physical devices. So as you can see right now, I do have both of my phones here. So the one on the left is my Android phone, and here on the right is my iPhone SE. And they're both connected to my machine. And if we're going back here to Xcode, as you can see here, now my iPhone is being detected by Xcode. It is listed under iOS device. And if I click it here like this, now I can build the app on this iPhone. And if we wish to do the same for Android, we can go back to Android Studio here and close this virtual devices here like this. Okay, so now you can see my device being detected here by Android Studio. And if you also want to make sure that your device is being detected, you can do that by typing a command in your terminal, which is the command that I already shown you earlier. It is actually adb devices. So this command detects all the Android phones that is connected on your machine. So if you hit on enter, now it listed me my physical device ID here, which is this one. And as you can see here, we do have an emulator -5565 being detected as well, since we actually have our Android emulator still open here. I just minimized it. So here it is. It is actually detecting all the instances of Android devices that is running on my machine right now. So you can use this command for you to, check if your device is being detected. And if not, you have to configure it by enabling its debugging capacity. So you can do that by going here to settings. Okay, let's go here to settings. So for me, it should be this one. And then I think system, right? System, about phone. And then I'm not sure if this is the one that I should be clicking. All right, so it asks me for my passcode here. All right, so after typing in my passcode, I am now a developer. And after that, we should be going back to the system settings. And now we can see another option here, which is called developer options. And then here, you can enable USB debugging. That's how you can enable developer options and USB debugging on your Android phone. Now, maybe we can try to run the app on my Android. So I'm gonna try to do npx run npx react native run Android. Let's see what happens. All right, so now you can see that the app is now running on my physical Android device here. So that is also the same for our iOS phone here. So all you have to do is to select your phone on this drop down, and under iOS device, click your phone right here, make sure it's checked, and then click on build, and it will build your app to your physical device. So that's it. So guys, I want you to go ahead and create your own mobile dApps with this boilerplate. I really encourage you to visit this Ethereum React Native boilerplate that we made for you. There's a lot of efforts that has been made to make this Ethereum React Native boilerplate CLI available for you guys. So go ahead and check this out. And I personally challenge you guys to create your own mobile dApps using this Ethereum React Native boilerplate. And if you need more help, you can always go to YouTube and then go to Moralis. And here you can see that there's like virtually a lot of content for you guys. So we do have here a lot of content for React, for cloning coin market cap, something like this. So guys, just visit youtube.com and then go to Moralis YouTube page. Then here in this channel, you can actually see a lot of tutorials. What I mean by a lot is actually almost every tutorial you wish you want to watch when it comes to learning blockchain, learning how to clone specific projects that has something to do with NFTs. You can also watch something like this Web3 tech stack discussion. We do have a lot of updates, like really a lot of updates. And I also want you guys to check out the videos here. Also the video that I created for the chat app. So let's type in React Native. Maybe we can check something here. Okay, so we do have a lot of video content when it comes to React Native as well. So I did a lot of live streaming the past month, last December, that has something to do with the Ethereum chat app, which I personally made for you guys. So you can go ahead and visit that one if you're interested on creating your own chat app. So here you can see a lot of details here. All right. So what I want you to do is to go here to this video, watch this video here, learn something from me discussing React Native and creating dApps. And I also want to challenge you to create your own dApp and post it on our Discord channel here. So if you created your own dApp, I really want you to show it to us. So go here to Moralis DAO channel and post it here to Built with Moralis channel. Okay, so where is it actually right now? There's a lot of channel already. All right, so here under Moralis support, go here to Built with Moralis, and I want you to paste here the React Native dApp that you are able to conceptualize, or you are able to derive from our Ethereum-react-native boilerplate. And I really want to hear something from you, and you can also give us feedback and post lots of questions. If you do have questions with React Native boilerplate, you can also go to our forum here again. I'm gonna show you again. Okay, so you can go to this forum and post all your concerns, all your questions here, and I'll be really glad to help you out with all your questions. So we actually have here another question that I'm gonna be answering right now after this video. So guys, again, I thank you so much for watching up until the end of this video, and I really hope that you learned something from everything that we've been through, from installing our CLI tools to installing iOS development environment, installing Android development environment, and creating our app from scratch without the boilerplate, until we clone our Ethereum React Native boilerplate and changing some styles here. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And if you're not subscribed to Moralis yet, I really want you to go ahead and go to the Moralis YouTube channel and subscribe and click the bell button to not miss any single update from our channel. So that's it for you guys. Thank you so much. Keep on building and stay safe.